Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Brittainy, and in today's video I wanted to talk to you guys about 5 books that I rated 5 stars. So if you're not familiar with how I rate my books, please go reference my video called How I Rate My Books, because I have an entire video of how I rate my books, why I rate the books that I read that way, and it just makes it so much easier when it's time for me to log my books into Goodreads and when it's time to talk to you guys during my reading wrap-ups and when I post my book reviews on my Bookstagram page. So let's get to this video. A 5-star read to me means I felt every emotion to man. You either made me cry, made me laugh, made me hate you, made me like you, made me shout, made me go, oh my God, while reading the book, anxious, all of that. I love the book so much. I talked about the book so much. I highly recommend the book. Every time somebody asks for a book rec, I'm telling people about this book. You have become an auto read or an auto buy author for me. So the first book I rated 5 stars this year was actually The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I ate this book up. I think this was the first book I read with my book club this year, and this was so good. I think everybody has pretty much read this book by now, but if you haven't, it is about a lady from the historical times. Like, she was the Marilyn Monroe of her time. Her name was Evelyn Hugo, and she basically gave the tea about all 7 of her husbands. Like, she had 7 husbands and gave the tea. She decided that she wanted to give her story to a publishing company and wanted a specific writer to do the interviews and write the story on her behalf. During this book, you get each chapter is about a husband, the relationship she had with this husband, you know, why she had so many husbands, and then ultimately you get the reason behind her choosing who she chose to write her story. You guys, this book was so good. Because you get 7 husbands, you obviously will need to jot them down because you will want to pick who your favorite is. I love this story because not only did it talk about how many husbands she had, it really talked about why she had so many husbands. And when I read this book, I remember asking myself, is that why Jennifer Lopez be getting married so much? Because the way Evelyn Hugo was explaining to the young lady why she was getting married so many times, it kind of made sense. And it made you think, like, do celebrities do this in real life? Because it gives celebrities do this in real life. This book had me tucked in my reading nook on my couch the entire time, reading, didn't want it to end. I love this book so much. This was actually my first book by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have so many others of her books on my TBR that I just hadn't gotten to yet, but I heard her catalog is so good. 5 out of 5 stars, highly recommend. Now the second book, and I'm laughing because there are so many mixed reviews about this book. The reason why there's so many mixed reviews about this book is because when people are reading a book, we all take away something different from a book. And we either take away something different from a book or we go into the book with different expectations. With this book, I didn't hear much about it. The only thing I heard about this book was people taking a picture of the first page because it started off extremely spicy. Now, I didn't go into this book with any expectations or anything, and I think a lot of people did. And this book is You Made a Fool of Your Death. You made a fool of death with your beauty. So this story gives us a character, I forget her name. Her fiance passes away. I believe it was in a car accident. When her fiance passed away, she decided that she was not going to date for a minute because obviously her love of her life passed away before she even got the chance to get married. And so, if I'm not mistaken, yes, it's been 5 years since the incident that killed the love of her life, and she's almost a new person now. An artist with her own studio, sharing a brownstone apartment with her ride or die best friend, Joy. I loved Joy so much. who insists it's time for Fee, that's the main character name, to ease back into the dating scene. Fee isn't ready for anything serious, but a steamy encounter at a rooftop party turns into something she never imagined. A luxury trip to a tropical island with glamorous meals, all of the celebrities, a celebrity chef, to launch her art career. So with this, I think a lot of people didn't like it because it was messy. Fee was extremely messy in this novel, and if you went in it thinking anything other than messiness, I can see why people was freaking upset about this book. For me, I enjoyed this book the most because Fee got another chance at love. Who she got another chance at love with ain't none of my business. However, I was excited about who she fell in love with because that other person got another chance at love as well. And the other person is a parent. He has children, and he spent a lot of his time taking care of his children, putting his children first, putting his ex-wife first. And what I took from this book is that you will always get the opportunity to live life how you want to live life. Once you are done taking care of your children and getting them out of your house because they are grown, you have the free will to live life how you decide to live life. And that's what I took from this book, from both Fee and from who she was with at the end of the book. That's what I took from this book. They both got the second chance that they needed. How they got the second chance? Yeah, it was a little messy. However, it was an amazing novel. I really enjoyed it. I think my takeaway from the novel was completely different from other people's, and that's why I rated this novel a 5-star. So the next novel that I rated a 5-star is Maame by Jessica George. This is a coming of age novel, and if you know anything about me, and I probably don't mention it a lot, I love a good coming to age novel because I always see myself in those character shoes. I always see myself in those character shoes. I eat those novels up. I don't care how much of a slow burn they are, because this is definitely a slow burn, but I love this novel so much. I did an entire reading vlog about this one, so if you guys want to reference that just to get my thoughts and opinions, then you should. This one is about a young lady named Maddie. It's fair to say that Maddie's life in London is far from rewarding, with a mother who spends most of her time in Ghana, yet still somehow manages to be overbearing. Maddie is the primary caretaker for her father, who suffers from advanced stage Parkinson's. At work, her boss is a nightmare, and Maddie is tired of always being the only Black person in every meeting. So she is the primary caretaker for her father because her mother is not there. Her mother is in Ghana working, and because she's the primary caretaker of her father, she hasn't gotten the opportunity to date. She's stagnant at her job. Like this synopsis says, she's the only Black person in her job. She hasn't lost her virginity yet. She's stuck taking care of the household. It's giving big sister vibes. It's literally giving big sister vibes. And when I say I related to this character a lot, I related to this character so much. And I was just like, me and this character, we go together. And I really, really love this story. I really, really love how it ended for Maddie. I really loved how she had the opportunity to dig deep into what's going on with her mom, because her and her mom's relationship was terrible. You get to explore a marriage of convenience in this novel. You get to explore Maddie just going through the motions of taking care of an ill parent. You get to explore brother and sister relationships. You get to explore so much in this novel, and I feel like if you love a good coming of age novel, then this one is for you. 5 out of 5 stars, highly recommend. So my next 5-star read was The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. This was my first Frida McFadden book. As usual, I think everybody read this book first. If you didn't read this book first, you probably read Never Lie or The Inmate. Like, that's just for some reason to starters. But I always highly recommend this book to anybody who's asking to get started with Frida McFadden, because it was my first book, and I felt like this one here sets the standard for Frida McFadden. This one is about a Winchester family, and we have a maid. Her name is Millie. She is given a second opportunity to be in a workforce, and she is a maid for the Winchesters. And you can't give too much on the synopsis or what the story is about, because it's a thriller. So when you give stuff away, you literally give the story away. But what I can say is this book was a page turner. What I love about Frida McFadden is she gets to the point. Her chapters are small. They are small. Each chapter leaves a little cliffhanger to make you want to turn the page to the next chapter. Before you know it, you've been finished the whole book in one day. These are easy, simple reads. I guess people will call these popcorn thrillers, but the ending of this book literally had me like, what? Now I'm ready for book number 2. 5 out of 5, highly recommend. I'm pretty sure everybody has read this one by now, but whenever somebody asks for a thriller recommendation, I'm throwing this one out there. I have so many people that I recommended this book to, and they sat up there and literally binged all of Frida's books. The last novel that I want to talk to you guys about that I rated a 5-star is The Mixtape by Brittainy Cherry. This is the first and only book I have read by this author, and you guys, this novel was amazing. When I say I felt every emotion while reading this book, I literally remember sitting in the backyard with my husband and just reading this book. Like, I couldn't put it down. I could not put it down. You have the main character, the main male character is a twin brother. His twin gets killed in a car accident at the very beginning of the book. That is not a spoiler. You get that in a synopsis, and they are musicians and they are a duo. And so with his twin dying, he's having to be able to continue the legacy of his twin without his twin in the music industry. So he still has to perform, he still has to do concerts, he still has to create new albums, but he's going through it, literally going through it. He hasn't been given the opportunity to fully mourn his brother's death or anything like that. And then you have Emery. Emery spots him at the bar that she works at, and she helps him. She literally helps him in a situation that, oh child, he definitely needed the help. And what I loved about this is Emery has a daughter in his book. Now, I know a lot of people do not like children in books, but her raising her daughter in this book brought a lot of light to this story. The little girl was so cute, so funny. She cracked so many jokes. She really held this story together. And when we had emotional points of the book, the little girl came through with some funny jokes or just something that will make you literally laugh out loud. Not like, oh my God, that was cute, that was funny. No, you literally reading a book and chuckling while you're reading a book. And that's why I gave this book a 5-star. Loved it so much. This is one of those books that I would definitely reread. I always recommend this book to my friends. It's such a cute book, and anytime you can combine music and romance, I love it and I eat it up. So these are the 5 books that I've read this year that I've rated 5 stars. Of course, I have more, but I wanted to highlight some that I don't really talk about that often, because just because I don't talk about them does not mean they go unnoticed. I always talk about Razor Blade Tears by S.A. Cosby, so I purposely didn't put that book in this video because y'all probably sick of me talking about that book, but just know, okay? Auto by author, okay? So just know he's part of this stack too. And I have so many other books that I rated 5 stars, but I definitely wanted to highlight these because you don't see a lot of people talking about these often. And if you do, it's a lot of mixed reviews. So I really wanted to give you guys the reason behind why I love them so much, why I rate them 5 stars, and why I highly recommend. Let me know down in the comments if you read any of these books. What's your thoughts and opinions about this book? If you feel different about these books than I did, that's fine. We could chat. I love to know why someone didn't like a book that I loved, because it gives me another outlook of the story. Because like I said, we all read books and interpret them differently. So I would love to hear your opinion. If these are on your radar and you have not picked them up, I highly recommend. Just add them to your cart, sis. Okay? All right. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Until next time, ta-ta.